Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the Beyond the Summit series number 3, NME facing off against Infamous. This is going to be game 2 here, as we did see Infamous run an Ember Spirit OD core strategy that just worked out to absolute precision. Dazzle was in there as well. It was just really, really well done across the board, and they picked their team fights well. Were able to find a couple of key pickoffs and then won the game from there. And looking to see slightly different things, although looks like it's mostly the same heroes banned out. I'm Lyrical, joined today by Ryuu as well as Lyrical on the stats. Ryuu, any final thoughts before we get into game 2 about what you're hoping to see as far as changes into game 2 here from game 1?
Well, the thing is, NME GG last game, they ran it kind of well. They got 2 Roches and they put on the pressure. It just seemed like they didn't get enough done, and finishing the game was probably the biggest thing for me, right? They hit a wall once the Lincolns came up, it feels like, and they could not kill the Ember Spirit. They could not address him in any way, shape, or form, and it just looked like he was able to do whatever he wanted throughout the game. So maybe more, I can't even say catch because they had the Beastmaster. Maybe just another hero to have. Like I said, BSJ really needed to have an Abyssal Blade last game, and he didn't. Instead he had a Butterfly, which you do need evasion against an OD, but still, it's just a very hard predicament they were put in towards the later stages of the game, and they just really need to get on top of the Ember Spirit, and they couldn't.
So maybe a bit of a change, not necessarily an individual play, but game plan as a whole, and knowing when to have that killer instinct to really go for the quick jump and kill with the Abyssal, as opposed to more of the trying to take towers. It felt a little bit like almost an anti-mage type of game that we saw the Juggernaut trying to play last time. Not that necessarily that's wrong, as it was a really hard team fight to take in terms of, we talked about Ravage there, we talked about the Dazzle, all of those things becoming really difficult. But I don't know, it did seem very odd to me as well that there were a couple of key changes that might have needed to happen. This time around, we're going to be seeing something slightly different. OD as well as Oracle going to be picked up for NME, and a Viper by Infamous. So thinking that they want to run it themselves now, OD has seemed to be a very strong powerhouse of a hero. But is Viper the answer, maybe? Somebody to try and bully him around in lane a bit?
10 seconds.
It depends on what the roaming heroes are going to be, because there can still be an ES roam potential. That is the scariest thing in Dota right now, is him just bouldering in onto middle, and then you pretty much get right-clicked down to death by the Orb of Venom. As well as you could have roaming heroes like Tusk. We haven't seen it too much recently. I just want to see how, but if it's straight man mode 1v1 situation, Viper should be doing good here. I really love the Oracle pickup, because last game we saw the OD just do whatever he wanted. We saw some shallow graves come out to really try and save the OD. It wasn't enough, so instead they're going to go for an Oracle, which is even better with the False Promise, in my opinion, and you can negate a lot of the magic damage coming in with Fate's Edict.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be a key component in these ones, and maybe able to take care of a little bit of that Viper Strike damage that comes in. Of course, still the slow is going to be the biggest part of that, but it is something that definitely is super relevant. And it did feel like nighttime, or rather vision in general, was a really huge issue for NME in the last game. They had a decent chunk of it with that Beastmaster Hawk roaming around. It felt like they were able to invade the Radiant jungle fairly consistently, but it's going to also be a switch up of the sides this time. Infamous is going to be Dire side, and they're going to have a little bit of an easier access to Roshan, as well as the maybe slightly more robust jungle. What to you is sort of the big difference between Radiant and Dire right now? Is it mainly just the Roche still, or is the Radiant jungle as weak as everybody says it is?
I would say Radiant jungle is way harder to get away with more greed as opposed to before. It also, obviously, that new ward changing is super annoying when you're trying to, place it there safely as a support. You can't do that. You can't deward safely anymore because you have to walk all the ways around. There's just a lot of things with Radiant jungle kind of changed up. I like it in some ways, and then others I don't, because Dire, Roche still has a really good advantage for their side. the new creep spawn is pretty good. Still, if you try to invade, a lot of times you see early first bloods happening for the side of Dire because mid can rotate
10
over, or
seconds remaining.
they'll just have a support kind of over there, like say this bounty hunter now. He
Right.
could just be
5
over there,
seconds remaining.
kind of protect it, and if anybody's just comes out, the offlaner from whatever Infamous is going to pick
Reserve
up
time.
could die. So now we have a strategy, right? Night Stalker versus Bounty Hunter. Is it going to be a Night Stalker offlane, or is it going to be kind of like a support roaming Night Stalker trying to compete against the Bounty Hunter here?
Yeah, definitely. That's going to be the big question mark for me as well. And I think oftentimes what you've seen out of Night Stalkers, particularly in the Chinese scene, I haven't seen it a ton in North America, is picking up that early Iron Talon, and it just synergizes so well for that hero who already has a decent chunk of armor, being able to get that extra bit. And then when you're in your downtime, you can go over, if you play the offlane role, into that little side camp and hit away at the heroes. Or even if you're playing the support role, possibly try and take a little bit of farm yourself. But the Tidehunter taken, it seems like it is going to be that Night Stalker in the roaming role. So the thing I was going to say about that is that if you're having somebody who's moving around trying to farm, that's where Bounty Hunter, I feel like he really excels, able to soak away the experience and also able to somewhat consistently apply a decent chunk of damage. And particularly in the mid lane, if OD is not careful, I feel like Bounty Hunter and Viper can just destroy him with all of the slows they stack on.
10 seconds.
Yeah, and Bounty
remaining.
Hunter is going to have a huge impact in this game. He has to, like,
5
at the beginning of the
seconds
game, he
remaining.
can do so much work. He can go scout out to see where the positioning is going to be. He can scout out to see if Tidehunter has the Iron Talon. If he's going to be jungling, he can go steal EXP. He can go for the courier snipe. I mean, this is one of the most fun heroes early on as a Bounty Hunter because you can just do so much around the map and all eyes are on you. All eyes are on you. So, all right, there you go, buddy. There,
Radiant
like
team
two
back.
counters to the OD it has to be one anti-mage. If you can stick on him with the Manta style and then get off, a good right click, good amount of right clicks, and then Mana Void, and then two is the Nyx Assassin. So they've already got the Bounty Hunter.
10
They
seconds
still need an
remaining.
offlaner here. Infamous's lineup is kind of weird, right? It's
5
looking like it's going to be a
seconds
4
remaining.
protect 1, but their 4 is looking pretty darn weak compared to the other heroes on the
Reserve
enemy
time.
team.
No, definitely. And with a Bounty Hunter lane, like a Bounty Hunter not really being a huge factor in lane, this feels
They
to
could
me
go
that
aggro, right?
they could go super aggro. Like, can't you just almost pick Chen here if you wanted to? I mean, not necessarily running Night Stalker safe lane, but I feel like they give you the opportunity here to run something super aggro. Maybe a lone druid. Oh, it's been banned out already.
10 seconds remaining.
Gyro is really good in the aggressive situation here.
5
Gyro
seconds
plus Oracle.
remaining.
I don't see how they die. Night Stalker roaming around. Tidehunter 1v1 against anyone bottom. It
Reserve
should be
time.
good.
I feel like the
What?
lanes can just get trashed here for Infamous if they're not careful.
Radiant
They're going to
team.
need
Yeah.
to pull something out with this last pick that
That-
gives
that-
them very strong lane potential.
Man, this was probably the best game to ban Terrorblade. I mean, if you have a Terrorblade on the enemy team, you have no way of stopping it right now. There's no way. So that's a really good heads up ban coming in from Z Talk. They would have just crushed from the 10-minute on, and I don't think the Anti-Mage could have gotten the Battle Fury.
10 seconds.
So here's my
remaining.
question. Is it worth it to try and go sort of squirrely heroes yourself, maybe
5
something like a
seconds
Weaver
remaining.
for enemy, or do they want to try, considering right now there's literally no stuns,
Reserve time.
except for, like, for the mini stuns that are coming in from the Anti-Mage ulti and then Shuriken, as well as level 4 Dazzle Poison Touch. So like...
I like Lycan here or
Okay.
Ursa.
Alright.
They're my two favorite right here. One, Lycan, because Necrobook 3 is really good against the Bounty Hunter for
Right.
keeping tabs, as well as obviously it's going to help for the pushing power. The Ursa for just blink in onto the Anti-Mage and you'll get like three hits in and he's half HP all of a sudden. Also gives you that really that really good Roche lineup, and I think they want to be really aggressive, and they need another hero to sure up that they can get the Roche early on, right? Because at this stage, you don't want the Anti-Mage to free farm. Okay, well, I would have never guessed that hero in a million
Dire
years.
team pick.
Well, what does it give you? I mean, with Oracle there, you're going to be able to go pretty dang ham as a PA. There's not a lot to really stop them from just jumping on somebody. Like we said, there's no stuns for her really. She is an early fighting hero. What else does she give you? I think
Well, in
late
this
game you're going to
game,
be able to carry harder than an AM in terms of fighting
10
straight up, right?
seconds remaining.
yes and no. That's more predicated on the
5
abyssals
seconds remaining.
and kind of crits, because in 1v1 situation, there's still going to be a lot of
Reserve time.
helping support, so it's really hard to say who comes out on top. I think it more comes down to whoever gets the jump first
Okay.
in those situations with the PA and the anti-mage versus each other. Because if anti-mage blinks in, Manta Styles, Abyssals, PA has 0 mana, and she's dead. She'll just get mana voided. But on the other side, you could still live with the anti-mage if you get blinked on with Abyssal, because
10 seconds
you're not
remaining.
going to be doing as much damage. Infamous,
5
they
seconds
lack heavy amounts of burst damage, so what are they going to do? They're just going to go for a lot of sustain and survivability, okay?
Huh. Very, very unpredictable and not what we were expecting drafts, as it looks like they're going to be going for the Abaddon as that last pick. What do you think? It's sustainability, you said. Is Aphotic Shield really important here? What am I missing?
It can help take off the silence from Night Stalker, as well as the slow coming in from obviously the dagger or even the gush, but that's little stuff. I guess, yeah, just purging the silence and just having a lot of sustain. Maybe Abaddon rushes, Viper rushes the mechanism, Abaddon rushes drums. They're going to have a decent kind of sustain with the Dazzle,
10
heals,
seconds.
Abaddon here, and then if they can get Bounty Hunter track online pretty early,
5
maybe they
seconds
can get
remaining.
these huge kills, and then they can perfect the 4 protect 1, which, as long as the anti-mage just gets a fast Battle Fury into still Vlad's this game into Manta style, they can definitely take it into the later stages of the game, but against an OD and a PA at the it's so weird for me talking about this, right? Because you have an AM who needs to farm, but you really want to get aggressive early on because you're against an OD and a PA, and their lineup is so good with Tidehunter and Night Stalker where they put on the aggression.
Right.
It's going to be a huge clash.
Well, and the thing that's also very odd to me is it does feel like, all right, maybe it's a wash between PA and Anti-Mage for who's going to be able to carry harder and be able to deal more damage once you get to the late game. But the sort of disparity between Viper and OD, to me at least, it feels like on equal farm, those heroes, OD is going to win every time just because of what he's able to bring to the fight outside of just single target DPS. And then you've kind of also got the issue, maybe you can say that Viper's going to be able to snowball to get a lot of kills and stuff, but they're going to have to be fighting without their anti-mage, as you said. Very, very odd draft. And it looks like, at least from the start, Z-Talk is going to be in here with the Orb of Venom and
30
going to try and be a bit of a butt. Might be able to make something happen on Frozen as the slows do come out, and I don't know if they're really going to be able to do anything here, though. He just walks away.
Yep, just poking and prodding, making them waste tangos. That's going to be the name of the game for them. But I have a very big question right now. I think I know the answer to it, but if they're going to go, I'll ask it later here.
Yeah, Stinger is going to take a lot of damage.
Oh.
The heal bomb is so big. The Purge comes in as well as the slow. Going to be able to keep him alive. Fairy Fire comes in. Z-Talk is going to be able to try and go for one last kill here on the Slayer. Getting chased around. This is so messy right now. The heal bomb is pretty freaking big. The OD has already fallen. There's the dust to reveal Z-Talk. He's going to end up getting bursted down. They want to be able to kill off Frozen. He does end up dying. Excel, meanwhile, is going to get chased down by the Night Stalker and the PA. Going to break the Clarity. Oh, that's a pretty good one, but he's still going to be able to get the Void off. Heals another time through. Meanwhile, we do have the Bounty Hunter coming in. Is he going to be able to get anything in return? 5 kills in 25 seconds. What the hell is this start to the game?
Hells yeah.
Oh,
At the
man.
end of the day, it's 3 for 2. First Blood went for enemy, but let's look at the net worth here. Yeah, it definitely favors them a bit, but I'm trying to figure out how the laning stage is going to go now. Because Viper, he got a free 2 or 3 CS in the mid lane, where OD had to waste money for TP. Also doesn't have, he's ferrying out the salve right now. So at the end of the day, I think it's going to favor Infamous just for the laning stage in the mid. Also, top is looking very bad for Sovereign.
Yeah, no,
Is
it's
he dead? He's dead.
yeah, he
did
goes
tango.
down. Oh my god. I don't know if he knew that he got hit by the poison touch. We're just gonna gloss over that though.
Gloss. That was very glistening. That was a highlight.
Oh man. Yeah, I just caught the end of it. I totally thought that he was going to be fine walking away from that one, but not quite able to min-max it to survive, and is going to end up going down there, unfortunately. The tri-lane here against the Abaddon, it's a little bit hard to play in this lane as Abba. I'm not sure what the interaction is with Fortune's End and the Aphotic Shield. I have a feeling that Fortune's End does not just purge it off, but I'm not positive.
Yeah, it won't purge it off, and he's gonna have to use it afterwards, right? After he uses the Aphotic Shield, else then he can just purge off the him just being stuck there. So,
Right.
well, mid lane, dewarding wars. There's no more tangos on the side for Slayer here, so he could not eat. Not hungry enough, boy.
Absolutely. Well, and this also just applies that much more pressure to that mid lane. Like, Slayer now can barely even approach the lane, because if he gets hit, you've got Janata, you've got Orb of Venom, and then afterwards just one hit from that poison attack, they could probably dive. It's so scary. And this, I think it sort of harkens back to that point you're making about Infamous. Despite the fact that we talked about them having really weak lanes, they're making it work. Like, Tidehunter is not able to pressure this anti-mage as much as he would want.
Yep, you just get mana burned. Acel has been doing a really good job getting, he's 3-1 right now because of those 2 kills. So he's starting off with boots. He's almost going to have, mana boots here shortly. And it's just been really nice to see that he leveled up Poison Touch to get that kill. Oh, meanwhile, there was Sentry Wards given back to the mid lane here.
Nice.
Protecting Slayer here.
They don't quite have vision of Z-Talk, who's off in the woods, and again, it's a situation where he might feel a little bit more comfortable now. This could be the moment they're going to go forward, and I think that he is going to go down. Janata comes in as Oracle kills off the Abaddon in the bottom lane, but the bigger kill, more important one, is that Viper ends up being able to kill off the OD mid.
Yep, that's a huge, OD. What is he, level 4? Compared to level 5 of Viper, and he's got 1,000 gold saving. Please buy something. If he buys a Midas, though, I'm gonna leave for the Viper now. But yeah, I think rushing mech should still be the standard. Obviously, getting treads first, and then transitioning isn't too bad. But Tara, he's taking a lot of damage. But it's kind of weird seeing the OD not going for any points in Astral Imprisonment when you know the Bounty Hunter is gonna be roaming over.
Yeah. Well, I guess that his thought is that if he ends up getting hit the first time through, he's probably going to end up dying anyways, just because of how the slows end up interacting. But I agree with you. It definitely is different to not see that picked up. And Dazzle here going to try and sit on the mid lane. God, they have so many heroes here. Even if OD goes down, or rather, they're just going to dive him. They're not even afraid. Poison Touch, there's the heal bomb. Now the Janata comes in, and a couple more right clicks after the Shuriken, and they kill off the OD again. Viper Strike, because he's level 6, and now Frozen's going to fall. Flying Zebra is a Night Stalker, but honestly, even though it's nighttime, he can't get anything in this lane. Can't help out at all.
Well, that was a wasted TP, and
Radiant's middle
what?
tower
No,
is under attack.
that's just good understanding from them in what situation they're in. I mean, they have Shallow Grave to fall back on anyways, and they can still run away. They weren't really set up, and then the OD is still level 4. This is underwhelming. Well, level 5. And he still didn't get Astral Imprisonment. This is... You have to get Astral Imprisonment. 1, you can dodge Viper Strike. 2, you can literally stop somebody from running at you. I disagree with this heavily right now from Slayer.
Well, time will tell if it's going to end up paying off. He is going to be able to deal maybe a bit more damage off the back of it, but still... Viper is so tanky. Those 2 points in the corrosive skin is going to be enough to keep him alive for the moment. Excel. Oh, the turnaround. This could be really bad. Slayer is starting to drop. Can they kill him offline? Zebra Dota's here.
Though.
They do get the rotation in from the Oracle, which might be enough to kill him off. One last hit is going to kill off the Viper. And now, almost able to kill off Flying Zebra. But the heals and the kills coming in from the Oracle at the last second.
Bottom lane,
enough.
BSJ is going to get Shuriken. It's not in range. So close. Oh, I'm looking over. That's... Oh, there it is. What?
All right.
All right, circles lie nowadays. Oh my... What? That was literally 100 meters or something away. I don't even know how to measure distance in Dota, but what?
Huh. So PA actually has a fairly consistent pick rate. Not the highest in the world in 6.86, but this hero definitely doesn't get a ton of play. What are your thoughts on it? Is it just sort of because of the natural, like, all or nothing parts of her kit, or what has sort of been the thing that's maybe brought her a little bit more into getting picked recently?
I think the evasion factor against some of the heroes, she can get on top of heroes really easy, like just now, and then Stinger's pretty dead here. Oh, mid lane as well.
They're going to be able to get the Fate's Edict off, keeping Slayer alive. Oh my god, this Oracle. So much heals coming out, and unfortunately, he actually does have Dust. If he wants to go for this, there's an opportunity for them to kill here. Oh, Z-Talk thought he was going to be able to make something happen. Is going to end up going down, but Frozen falls. Katara Hayama is just going to end up backing up. Flying Zebra Dota going in. They end up dropping the Sage Eclipse the grave. It's going to be able to keep them alive. And now the slow's coming out. The urn. And then the Abaddon rotation. My goodness gracious. Katara Hayama is very, very happy at the moment, keeping his the rest of his team keeping him alive.
This Dazzle, man, putting on a show right now for us.
Absolutely.
Excellent play so far.
Oh, and PA is just continuing to get farm. You take a look at the net worth. She's second highest, only behind the Viper, which is the sort of nice part about this. Greedy is leading in terms of last hits. I guess that once you get that the Battle Fury up on AM, he's going to be farming a hell of a lot faster than PA, but she might be able to get more done.
Stinger?
Oh, God, Stinger. Oracle.
That was an Oracle thing right there, and as well as crits. I mean, that was really ballsy without having your ultimate. He needed 10 more EXP.
Yeah, and I bet he thought that he was just going to be able to get it before he was going to get taken out. Also worth noting, the rotation up to the top lane by Slayer, hoping to possibly find the AM, but no such luck as he's off in the jungle farming away, and they've stuck Flying Zebra in the mid lane for the moment. It's daytime, so he can't really roam around and find kills, but I also don't know if he can even stay in this lane despite his 6 armor. I guess that with Oracle here, it's a little bit more secure, but it just feels like this bounty hunter has been able to make so much happen.
Yeah, it's because of the PA pick. Like, you pick PA, you have to babysit her, and you have a Night Stalker Oracle babysitting. That's horrible. Oracle's great in that sense, right? But Oracle had to rotate mid to save OD. Like, OD is 0-4 right now, absolutely crushed and demolished, and they didn't save the mid lane, and they didn't save the bottom lane because BSJ, he's 3-1, so he's doing good for himself. He's gonna be rushing the Battle Fury, but at the same time, like, he's getting so much pressure put on him now because of his supports rotating elsewhere.
Well, and I guess that sort of it harkens back to the point that you were making earlier about the Astral. And
mana.
They were able to get him off.
He didn't tread switch because, okay, so, well, Arcane Orb max, intelligence stolen, but could have tread switch.
Well, that's the thing that I was about to say about it, actually, is it does look like they're going to rotate in now. No, Excel's not going to be able to do anything to kill off this PA. But you talked about the PA pick. It also kind of harkens back to the OD not getting the Astral. Obviously, it gives him more capability to fight against the Viper straight up and deal more of that pure damage. But it also means that he's more vulnerable when the ganks do come in from either the Dazzle having the Invis rune and then just diving in behind tier 1 tower, or the Bounty Hunter who's constantly rotating. That you have to have somebody sitting there instead. And such a freaking difficult game right now. For NME. They've still been able to get the lead in terms of towers taken. Actually, it's tied up for towers taken right now, but they've been able to get the lead in terms of kills, but it's not really telling the whole story.
Yeah, Anti-Mage has been free farm. What is it?
Oh god, tracking now under tower. BSJ, they do end up missing the first time through. Katara Hayama is here though as well. They have a lot of TPs coming in. There's going to be the ulti coming in from Abaddon, and immediately is trying to get out there. Ravage gets dropped down. Katara Hayama's dropping low. Are they going to be able to find any more kills though?
Guard.
It looks like they're going to be able to maybe get BSJ. They do with the Aphotic Shield proc coming in and now chasing after Excel, but I don't think they're even going to be able to get him. Sovereign ends up falling. 3 dead. It might end up being 4 in just a couple of minutes here. They want to get anything at all. They do end up getting the Viper, and now maybe going to be able to get Excel. They do the turnaround. The rotations in from the Night Stalker. They get the return kill onto the Abaddon. The only one left alive is Z-Talk, and I think that they are going to be able to get away on Slayer. He walks out. Oh my goodness. Dota 2 as Z-Talk might go down to the daytime Night Stalker. Can they find him? No, they can't quite, and honestly, with the track up, I think that he was going to get out anyways.
All right, that Crimson Guard did so much work. He got delivered right then and there, the Viper. I'm not sure if it would have been better for him to go for a mech in that situation, but it did do a lot of work, negating a lot of the right clicks coming in from the OD as well as the PA, but still, at the end of the day, no AM showing up to the team fight. Definitely hurting them a lot in that situation. Imagine if there was one mana void on top of that OD or anyone.
The Oracle even. I mean, anybody, yeah.
Yeah. They were so low on the mana of the side of enemy, and just one little thing could have pushed Infamous over the top. But still, they're in the driver's seat. Tide Ravage was used. It was a good one, but it's on cooldown now, so they're in the driver's seat.
It did feel like there might have been a moment there where after the kills they possibly could have been able to get out of that team fight before they ended up losing their own 3 on the side of Infamous. But still, it's a pretty good press for them. You have to give a decent amount of credit here to NME for, you know, keeping that close at the end, and the rotation from the Tide, realizing he had to be in that fight. If they don't get that Ravage off, they don't turn that back around. And now it looks like with the Weave coming in, oh, Greedy, let's get out of there. Oh no, they're going to be able to have the silence, not wanting to go for it though, as they did spot that the Dazzle was there for the Grave and also weaved up. Might have been a little bit scary, so they end up backing out of there, and the tower is going to get denied for their trouble.
Yeah, I'm really surprised they didn't TP in more to a little bit earlier so they could have saved their tower. They didn't have any of their big ultis up on the side of enemy, so Infamous should have kind of known this and potentially could have saved the tier 1 tower as well as a glyph up, but and at the end of the day, they're going to get a deny, but they're also going to get a sell, all wrecked by Fortune's End.
I did not think they were going to be able to catch him. I thought that Flying Zebra was going to back out, but when they see that there's 3 heroes pushing down the bottom tier 2 tower, they realize that they can do whatever the heck they want mid, and they're actually going to be applying pressure to both of the towers. Mass TP coming up towards the top lane. Kater Hayama is going to try and catch Sovereign here. He does have a TP scroll. Oh, Z-Talk, they're going to be able to cancel it. Oh, this is going to be really bad. He's going to end up going down. Does not have Blink yet. Was able to buy the first component of that mechanism, though, as Stinger is going to need to walk away in the bottom lane here. We do have a buddy of his, but it's just the anti-mage, and I don't think that they're really going to be able to get out, as he does have a TP scroll. They actually used Void there. There's a chance he could have TP'd away. Frozen comes in, and yeah, he's going to opt to
deny?
There's nobody.
There we go.
Oh, nicely done.
Easy call. No crits.
My goodness gracious. Well, fight recap at the end of the day. Losing the Tidehunter for the Abaddon, although they were on opposite sides of the map. A little bit more into the favor of Infamous, and they've been able to take a gold lead off the back of these track kills. Even in those team fights ended up, you know, breaking out relatively evenly. It's still a bit of an issue, and most kills by Viper by 15 minutes.
Got him.
They are going to be able to get the silence off. He's dropping very low. Is going to end up going down. Nice kill there. And that one was important.
Oh yeah, that was right before he got the Battle Fury. Now he has to farm another 300 gold.
Well, and time off the map, too. I mean, it totally hurts him so badly. It's really great for them to be able to find that one. And one TP coming in, they're going to smoke up, immediately find the Night Stalker jumping onto their Dazzle, and they spread out. Oh, man, Excel's going to definitely go down here. Nah, cancel TP? Anything? No?
Nothing.
I guess that he had already used Void.
Yep, they used Void. Oh, and they... I mean, Slayer is level 10, so he did pick up the Astral Imprisonment, so they could have if he was there. But yeah, you don't want to waste a Ravage for that. That would have been silly.
Yeah. Drum's now going to be the item for Abaddon. Does also have that Sage's Mask. Oftentimes, what you'll end up seeing is Vlad's on Abaddon, but considering there's an AM in the game, do you think it's worth it for him to go for that?
It's a good question. I thought about it too a little bit during the game, and I'm not exactly sure where they want to go for both things, because AM with Vlad's, obviously it helps speed up your farming progress a lot. At the same time, though, normally it is a staple for Abaddon to get the Vlads and help with the same push. But let's think about it. What could Abaddon go instead of Vlad's, and then AM could pick up something? So they still don't have a mech on their team. Who is going to be getting that? Okay, looks like the Dazzle. He's got a chainmail. Still could be building into the medallion.
Yeah.
Bounty Hunter. Okay, so we have it. Bounty Hunter is going to be building the mech.
Okay.
So Stinger. Oh, are they going to... What?
Vision very important, but they don't have any of it on the side of enemy. Stinger's thinking about going, and they're actually all going to be here for this engagement. He just walks right on into it. There's the weave on top of Flying Zebra. God, if they would have waited a second longer, they might have been able to get that. Oh, Shuriken?
I love the sound.
I like to do the hit a creep, so that way you can, you know, get a little bit of last hitting and then also a little bit of damage. The ultimate value.
Give me that free money. How close is he to the mech? He still needs to get the... He just needs the 600 gold for the recipe. So once they have that online, this 4 protect 1 strategy seems to be working out really well. They've managed to successfully shut down the OD, as we talked about throughout the game. Has come back because of that team fight in the bottom lane. He's still 4th in net worth, only 6k gold. I'm going to be curious to see what he goes for in this game, because every OD player is different. So it's hard to say what is right and what is wrong. In this case, I wouldn't even mind seeing a Lincoln's to really deter from the anti-mage and his ultimate, but we'll have to see.
Darkness is pop. Viper picks up the Aegis, and looks like they're going to be able to get away from that one. 68% win rate for picking up the first Aegis. Very interesting. Viper currently the top of the net worth chart, with AM right behind him. As this game goes later, you talked a little bit about Abyssal Blades being really important. I kind of feel like that's one of the earlier items for PA. Do you think that she's going to be able to get that one before AM, or is it sort of going to come down to like how BSJ ends up farming? Oh wait.
Well, in this game you don't really need a BKB for BSJ, and so he could go for a Basher next. SL 1, 2.
Oh, able to get away from that one. A really messy team fight breaking out. Stinger's on the other side. We still do have Ravage if they want to be able to make it happen. He did end up TPing out on one of those heroes. OD is not going to be in this fight. They actually need to be a little bit careful here. Stinger looks to go down with one last crit. Very well played there. Rolled correctly, and Kater Hayama is going to end up getting... They are going to jump after him, maybe? BSJ goes, but Tidehunter backs.
His Vlad's is just wrecking them. He's like, oh, I'm a boss, guys. Hit me.
And they a little bit of not quite sure what they're doing, and it looks like Frozen's going to end up going down. It felt like there was a lack of communication. Some people were going for it and others were not. And because of that, we end up losing the Oracle.
It's so funny watching both of those TPs out, though. Successful from the Dazzle as well as the OD. It's like, oh, we both had literally 1 HP, and we both managed to make it out. So, that was pretty good stuff there. But yeah, at the end of the day, you have a raid boss in the Viper, who's just standing on the front lines. He's going to be getting an assault really soon here. All the physical DPS from enemy is just going to start biting them in the butt. They have no magic damage besides the Oracle, it feels like.
Yeah. Well, and it becomes all the more important than all of these little items that they've got. You know, I'm taking a look at this and just thinking about also the ability to push down towers now with the AC. It feels like Infamous are going to start to be on a roll, and they don't even necessarily need the AM with them through all of these engagements to really still take the fight. We've got the PA up in the top lane pushing on a tier 1 tower, which is going to end up falling, but at the same time, Kater Hayama is just up in front and center, taking down their own tier 2 tower, and with Dazzle to back them up, it doesn't feel like they're going to stop at any given point in time.
I mean, this has to be like one of the most useless AMs I've ever seen, and this team is just winning him the game, right?
All right. Jump in. Z-Talk is going to end up going down. It looks like no, still staying alive. The Ravage is going to be enough. It ends up catching right on the very tip, and it looks like Slayer's going to fall. First Aegis does go down, but Viper's going to be back up in a second. They're chasing after Excel and Stinger. They haven't quite found him, though, being a little bit squirrely. They get the weave off. still staying alive. Look at him juke through the trees. Excel is a madman, not getting caught at all. The whole time, nobody can find him. He is finally going to get bursted down. No grave is going to be thrown. Slayer's still alive at the end of the false promise. And it looks like finally they're going to be able to do something. BSJ has just been hitting people this whole team fight. Sovereign falls down. The AM comes in at the last second, and I don't know if they're going to be able to do enough damage, as already 3 heroes go down from both sides. The 4th ends up falling, and now Kataru Hayama is going to be able to survive the onslaught coming in from the Night Stalker, and triple kill for Greedy. AM comes in at the last minute to clean up shop.
Well, finally he did something right? He came to a team fight. That's what I just wanted to see. Like, that's how easy it is for an anti-mage. They set up so many things. I mean, why is enemy trying to fight onto a Viper who has an Aegis there? They really need to kill off the supports, but like you said, Acel just kited them around. The only reason they got that kill was because 2 massive crits came out from PA, and that's why he wasn't able to get off the grave. So count their lucky stars, but still at the end of the day, it wasn't enough. And now Greedy's going to have his Manta style. He's got 1,600 gold to boot. I don't know how enemy get back into this game now. I'm very worried for them.
I mean, we talked about, like, you know, the fact that they jumped on the Viper first. And this hero, he's a hero that does more damage the longer that he stays in the team fight. So it's good to be able to take him out, but it almost felt like they just, oh god, AM is going to jump right into the PA, and they're going to have a little bit of a man fight, but Manta style is going to dissuade PA from going any further. It felt like with everybody chasing the Dazzle around and not able to get any eyes on him or any right clicks on him, they just weren't able to, like, they weren't doing anything. A couple of the heroes in that engagement just were saving their spells to try and focus down the Dazzle, and he was just able to outmaneuver him. I really feel like Cell has just been playing such a great game. From the early game dives behind the tier 1 tower to now, you know, juking and jiving through the trees. Just really, really good stuff.
Yep. Pretty much doing everything right for his team. Stinger, he's died maybe a little bit too much, 1 and 8. He's been playing really aggressive, but that's what you want to do as an Abaddon. You're kind of like an Earth Spirit in the sense where I'm on the front lines, I'm going to soak up a lot of the damage too, so they have a lot of things to really fall back on, right? You have the borrowed time that gives you a second life, you also have the shallow grave, and then how tanky Viper is, he basically has 2 lives, so they're just trying to basically fight 3 Wraith Kings right now. And it's pretty funny to watch. And now Greedy is online, finally, 23 minutes in the game. He just bought his Hyperstone. The only thing you can fault him for is not going for an MKB right now to really hit the PA, but PA is, it doesn't seem like she's still living during the team fights because of the Viper.
No. Well, we'll see if they're going to be able to make something happen. It doesn't feel like there's just one item from the side of enemy that's going to help them come back into this. They need so much to make it happen, and the gold lead that we've been seeing, 10k now, almost insurmountable, as the pressure starts applying here on the tier 3 tower. Sovereign does have Ravage up and just not respecting it at all. They're going to walk right the heck on in, take a tier 3 tower, and who's here to stop them? Nobody's back home. They end up popping the glyph to save their racks. And Sovereign's just going to try and walk in to ravage them, potentially. There's the PA in the midst of all of it. They do end up getting the heals coming out from the Oracle. They get the Ravage onto several. Is it going to be enough damage, though? I'm not exactly sure. They end up throwing out the Sanity's Eclipse. Greedy's in the midst of them. Slayer ends up falling. Can BSJ get any types of kills? The Dazzle does finally fall. Meanwhile, the tracks are up. They are going to be able to get several more here. Such a messy team fight as PA is continuing to change targets. Are we going to be able to get out of here? Flying Zebra Dota just trying to create a little bit of space. He's going to run away on the Night Stalker. Oracle down, Dazzle down. The healers are not going to be here, so straight up man fights abound. PA is going to end up falling, and that's going to be Slayer going down. Infamous might be looking for a quick 2-0 if they keep up how it's been going now. Blink forward, the body blocks. Oh, Greedy making it happen. Buyback by PA. She's going to jump in, able to get a lot of damage off onto Greedy. The silence is out, but the Manta style staying alive. The earn charge and the right click coming in from PA is going to be enough to finish him off, and now it looks like the barracks are finally going to fall. Only the AM has fallen, and at the team fight, that's going to be around a 4,000 almost gold swing. Oh man, what a freaking display.
That's a display, man. That was just the oh my goodness. That, like you said, all these ultis are just so underwhelming, right? Tide Hunter, it kind of set up for a cell going down. He had to shallow grave himself. The Sanity's Eclipse was the most underwhelming thing I've seen in a long time. He just doesn't have enough items at this stage in the game. He wasn't able to really click anybody first. You really want to ideally get 4 or 5 attacks off, and still, at least a good 30 intelligence before you pop it. So, I mean, he can't do that in these team fights. Obviously, the anti-mage, they all surrounded him. He bought back, and he went down. Didn't he go down again? So it's just, what can they do with such an under-farmed OD? It's all on the backs of BSJ, and he just has to hope for all these lucky crits, and it's still not enough because of Kotara. Like, this Crimson Guard has been the most impressive thing I want to say this game besides the Dazzle. How much work's put in.
Yeah, well, it really takes a lot to be willing to go for somewhat of an unorthodox item build, and having faith in yourself that you're making the right decision. That's not something that always ends up happening, as we see Z-Talk go for the little shuriken off on the creep. He is going to run right on into Flying Zebra on this Night Stalker, but they are not going to be sticking around.
What is going on?
Wait a minute, does he really?
I'm playing with a bunch of goodies on my team.
God, yeah, this is all right.
Fan of Soyeons.
We did see a couple of canceled Viper strikes in the mid lane earlier.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
This is something that Team Infamous are ever so slightly infamous for. Is going for the swag plays at the end. We haven't seen any blink daggers up on Anti-Mage yet, so I still think it's a straight up game of Dota.
I want to see the F-Blade into Mana Void, Dagon 5. That used to be the ultimate pub build.
Oh, dropping their items on the ground. It's begun. They're tired of it. They've had enough. Taro Hayama is just not afraid. The Aegis in hand, and he's ready to go ham. He's already got the MKB up. BSJ is just going to die. No, staying alive there. He's going to turn his attention over onto Sovereign. They throw out the daggers from afar, but I don't think any amount of crits is going to bring this guy down twice here, as they're going to just jump in again. OD in the midst of them, doing a decent chunk of damage. The Ravage comes out. The second Sanity's Eclipse. Z-Talk is still alive. He's not going to end up going down. Shadow Blading for victory, as it looks like they're going to be able to walk away from this one. The jump back in. Excel does have Grave, still ends up popping it on himself, and BSJ still alive at the end of the day. On sub 200 HP, they jump into base. Kotaro Hayama is just going to go for it. Ultra kill, and he's going to end up going for the animation canceling. He survives it all. What a freaking player. GG ends up getting called, as Infamous are looking in fine form.
Solar Crest on freaking Viper. Oh gosh. Oh, -7 minuses on Viper has a 100% win rate.
Absolutely. Don't say it. Call it a comeback.
Oh yeah. It's just, they did the 4 protect 1 strategy to perfection, and it was really nice to watch. I gave a little bit too much against Greedy there, because he didn't really show up to a 1-team fight. But at the same time, you kind of don't want to show yourself until you get the Manta style. In which case, he didn't have it. He just had the Yasha and the Battle Fury, and he still came in. They basically won the game from that point onwards. You could say a little bit beforehand, but still, from that point on, it was just pretty much GG. So, really well played from Infamous all around. Good synergy. And it's just coming down to the picks. It has to be the picks. You have to give BSJ a better hero to lane, like Gyrocopter I was saying, so where he can stay by himself. And then you can put the Oracle mid, the Night Stalker mid too, and really help the OD, because OD's kind of like a Viper in this game. If you get shut down early, it's really hard to come back in the game if you don't have, say, a big Sanity's Eclipse and a triple or Rampage at, say, 15 minutes in the game. So he was just shut down heavily and then couldn't come back.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, like you said, it felt very much like the sort of draft victory. It put them in such a great position. The Bounty Hunter doing a ton of work. And, we made fun of the Shadowblade Bounty Hunter. I still think it's not the build. I'm not going to go out on a limb and say that it's good. But there is some value potentially if you upgrade it to a Silver Edge, if you're already crazy rich against a PA. But I don't think that it's really completely and totally worth it. So please,
if you can get the Silver Edge off of it, yeah. Are you worried about the Z-Talk Shadowblade bounty hunters in your pubs now?
That's literally what I was about to say, that 1,000,010
lost.
people all over the world are going to be going for the Shadowblade Bounty Hunter. But anyways, thank you all very much for watching. It was an absolute pleasure casting for you all. BTS American Series number 3 is going to be continuing, I believe, tomorrow. I'm not exactly sure about that one, but we'll let you guys know afterwards. I think that we also have Southeast Asian Dota that's going to be on the same channel a little bit later on. Thank you very much to Stats People, Lurkaderp, as well as my co-caster, Ryuu. Where can we find more of your information? Where can we find more of your lovely content across the interwebs?
Well, I've been trying to cast a lot recently. Hopefully, maybe I'll cast again with you sometime. That was our first time casting. It was pretty enjoyable. Thanks
Felt
for
good
having
for me.
me. You can find. Oh, I know I suck. I'm sorry. I'm going out of here. I don't even need to plug myself anymore. I'm done.
You're
But
good.
no, if you liked my casting, you can follow me at Ryuu Dota. Everything I do is kind of on there. Sometimes I stream, sometimes I don't. Thanks for having me on. It was my pleasure, and I'll see everyone later.
Yeah, absolutely. You can follow me at Lyrical Dota and our stats person at Lurkaderp. All on Twitter. I'm probably going to go streaming a little bit here because that sounds like fun. But regardless, thank you all again for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Adios.